Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me today for Kineo Office Hours. Today is actually a kickoff to a series of multiple different sessions on quiz types. So I had initially looked at this and thought, we'll do quiz types all in one. There's too much to cover in one 20-minute session. So this is going to be our our series kickoff, and then over the next couple of weeks we will talk more in depth about each of the different quiz types and how they work. So let's just get going. My name is Taylor Craig. I'm the platforms consultant here at Kineo. What that entails is any kind of training any of our clients need, I generally do that. Any administration guide documentation, I generally do that. And I also work really closely with our solution architects during implementation, ensuring that you guys are comfortable with any custom solutions that we work out for you guys. So that is a little bit about my role here. So let's talk a little bit about all the different types of quizzes there are. A lot of people don't realize that there's more than one quiz type, or they see that there's different types and then they don't know how to use them. So there's about 5 different quiz types, and it's actually called a question behavior. And we'll take a look at what that looks like from a learner's perspective here in just a second, and then we will look at kind of some of the back end stuff, look at the settings. So I'll show you where you can play with the settings. I will also point you to some documentation so that if you want to start looking ahead, you're absolutely more than welcome to. You can start playing around with them. We will, though, go over each individual type over the next couple of weeks. So let's go ahead. First things first, I want to show you to the documentation. So in this particular case, I'm actually going to point you more so to the Moodle documentation, and you're going to want to find question behaviors. This is for Moodle 3.0 documentation. That is okay. That is going to be Totara 9. Okay, so that's going to be the equivalent of Totara 9. And if you need to do an earlier version of Moodle, you can put in like a 27 there, and it should kick you back to 2.7 documentation, and it did. Okay, so it shouldn't be a huge difference. I don't think that quiz has changed from then to now because it is a just still a Moodle plugin, right? But here are the different question behaviors. We have deferred feedback. That is going to be your typical run-of-the-mill quiz that everybody's used to. I go in, I answer questions, I don't see any feedback, I don't see my grade, I don't see where I am until I get to the very end and I submit. When I submit it, then I get my feedback. Okay? Next, we have 2 different versions of adaptive mode. Adaptive mode regular and adaptive mode with no penalties. So this is going to allow the learner to go in and answer a question, and then they get a button that says check. They'll click the check button, and then it will tell them if they got it right or wrong. It will give them the ability to attempt that quiz question again right then and there. Now, the adaptive mode regular, that is going to count off typically around 1/3 of a point every time they miss it. So if you're shuffling within the questions and they're just going through clicking A check, B check, C check, they can actually screw themselves up pretty good doing that. So something to keep in mind. Adaptive mode, no penalties. Basically, it's just you got it right or you got it wrong, and it won't count against you in any way. Manual grading, that's going to be if you really want to go in there and manually grade that all on your own. Typically, that's going to be most often utilized when you have a bunch of essay questions. So that's what that's going to be. Interactive mode, this particular one, if you've ever created a quiz, you've probably seen at the bottom of the quiz questions where you have the ability to put in a hint. And if you're using anything other than interactive mode, you've probably noticed that those hints don't work. If you're using interactive mode, the hints work. Okay, so that's the only way you can make those hints work. So basically, I also get a check button here. I go in, I check it, and then you can actually provide feedback to them that says, oh, you know what, you weren't quite right. try it again, maybe look at this page in your textbook or go to this website or whatever you want to do. So that's how interactive mode is going to work. Immediate feedback is going to be very similar to your interactive mode. It's going to be pretty similar kind of to adaptive as well. But immediate feedback, I answer the question, I hit check, it shows me if I got it right or wrong, and then I have to move on. It's not going to allow me to reattempt it in any way. Okay? And then we have certainty-based marking. So that's going to be applicable to your deferred feedback and your immediate feedback. Certainty-based marking is pretty cool. We're not going to talk about that one a whole lot in today's session. We won't look at that one until one of our later sessions. But certainty-based marking is basically allowing that learner to not only answer the question, but then tell you how they feel about it. Like if I'm really sure I got that right, or I'm kind of sure I got it right, or I know for a fact I got that right. That's absolutely correct. So that is actually, the calculations around CBM is kind of cool. It can count off double or provide double based on how certain they are. Okay, so lots of cool stuff to look forward to over the next couple of weeks. But let's go ahead, we're going to jump in as a learner. So I'm going to kick this across. I am our typical user that we use all the time, lovely Sharon Cunningham. And I'm not logged in. Generally I'm not, so you guys are used to me doing this. Okay, I always think I am, and then I kick myself out. I need to turn my timeout off on this site is what I need to do. All right, guys, so what you see here in this quiz example course, I have set up, actually our wonderful intern Victor has set up every single option for quiz that you can do. So we've got 2 different versions of deferred feedback, 2 different versions of immediate. Certainty-based marking, there's 4 different ways that could potentially be configured. Adaptive mode, again, 4 different ways that could potentially be configured. And interactive mode, there's 2 different ways that could be configured. So there's some really kind of cool stuff here that I want to take a look at and show you. So here's our deferred feedback quiz. Sharon's already attempted it a couple of times, but she's going to get to do that again. This is your typical quiz. I'm going through, I'm answering the questions, I'm hitting next. Now we've got these on 1 per page. I'm not going to go through all 16 questions. This particular quiz, I have 1 quiz question type of every single question. I can also maybe make this course available to you guys if you would like to kind of come in and play with all of the different quiz types. I can create some test users and put them in there, and then you guys can log in and play around with that. So I will do that. I'm going to add that to my to-do list. Not only will it maybe help you, it will probably help me in gathering data. And quiz. Okay. Also, it'll allow you the opportunity to go in and see every single question type in action. So I'm just going to select a random answer here. I'm not even reading these. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to pretend like we finished that completely. One thing to notice, when you click on Finish Attempt, it's going to let you know answers saved, not yet answered. You saved this one, not yet answered. And it's going to ask you, are you really sure you want to submit this? So Sharon's sure. She's just going to bomb it. So we see here that she has a green arrow, or a green box, a bunch of red boxes, and a green box. There's also yellow boxes for things that you got partially correct. So this is how your deferred feedback is going to show you. I'm seeing when I did it, how long it took me, the grade that I received, and then it is showing all of that feedback. Okay, so this is one of about a gazillion ways that you can set up feedback. You'll see your answer is incorrect. It's giving the correct information. Okay, as well as some additional information that we've put in. Okay, so that's your standard quiz, kind of what everybody expects to see. Here's one called deferred feedback. Each attempt builds on the last. Now, the cool thing about this one, and this is each attempt builds on the last. This is a setting that is inside of just the quiz module itself. You can add it to every single type of quiz behavior, question behavior. And basically what it does, we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit reattempt. She submitted this several times. And we're going to notice something about it when we get in here. Notice how for question 1, she sees checkboxes already. So basically that means that she's already attempted this once, and that was the answer that she gave the last time she did it. So she's going back through here and sees certainty based marking means doesn't only answer the question to get it right. So that one is correct, but she can change her responses based on the last time she took the exam, okay? And she can receive a different grade. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to finish the attempt where we'll change this. We'll jump over here to question 16. Lots of cool different quiz question types available now, guys, as well, such as these kind, drag and drop onto pictures. So you've got these options now as well. Okay, so we're going to hit next. This is kind of a cool question type, embedded answers closed. We're going to go ahead and we're going to finish the attempt. So she's going to see here, this is going to give her a little bit of a different summary page, not changed since last attempt. The answer has been saved. She knows that way that she just did these. Number 13 is incomplete answer. So she can submit all and finish, submit all and finish. Okay, and you'll see here that it's telling her it's not yet graded. The reason it's saying it's not yet graded is because of question number 7. Question number 7 is an essay question, and no one has come back in and graded that quiz. But she does have the ability to come in and see what she's gotten correct, what she's gotten incorrect. She can see the points that she has received per question. So here she's got 3.33 points out of 5 on this particular quiz question. Okay. So kind of cool, just to keep in mind the different things that you can do now and the ability that you can build on the last. Okay, so let's look and see what this looks like from the administrator's point of view. So looking inside the settings between these. And there we go. Fingers crossed we're still logged in. We're not. Alrighty. No big deal, we can get back in there pretty quick. Okay, so let's take a look and see which settings exactly it is that I'm talking about. I'm going to make this a little bit larger so you can actually see it. And we're going to go in, we're going to edit the settings for the particular quiz. I want to show you the settings that we're really going to be focusing on. So those settings are here. Question behavior. You're probably going to have to click show more for that. There we go. Okay, so you have the ability to shuffle within the questions, meaning your A, B, C, and D will be different every time you see the quiz. Okay, here is the question behavior. So here's all the different types, adaptive mode, no penalties. If you have a hard time locating that documentation that I pointed you to, go into the quiz, click on this how questions behave, drop that down, and then if you have the more help option, you can right click and open that in a new tab, and that will take you specifically to the Moodle documentation. Okay, just so you're aware. This one, allow a redo within an attempt. That's going to be for interactive mode. So you'll see when you switch it to interactive, I can give them a redo. Okay. Each attempt built on the last. Here's where you give it that yes or no option. Okay. Another thing to be aware of, guys, is that your review options, different types of quizzes or different question behaviors, they are going to be specifically dependent on some of this during the attempt settings here, and we'll talk about in our next sessions which ones are more dependent on that than others. Since we've just looked at deferred feedback, it doesn't give us any feedback during the quiz, so during the attempt is not relevant for this particular quiz type. But for others, it will be relevant and it will be necessary to utilize at least some of those different options. Okay, so that is just kind of a little kickoff as far as what we're going to be talking about. Next week, what we're going to talk about is, let's jump back into this course, and I'll show you which ones we're going to really focus on next week. Next week, we're going to focus on immediate feedback, and we may even jump into certainty-based marking, talking about deferred and immediate feedback with certainty-based marking, because it's pretty similar as far as how it works, and now you've seen a deferred feedback quiz, you've seen an immediate feedback quiz. Or you will have seen one, so it'll be pretty easy to take a look at the certainty-based marking options as well. Okay, so thank you guys so much for joining me this week. I look forward to seeing you back here next week, and I am going to turn the floor over to you if you have any questions.